Welcome back. The devastating impact of the violent unrest and looting early this month has left hundreds of people dead. In fact, 337 South Africans have died, according to official figures, and thousands now have been left without jobs. In fact, at least 150,000 jobs are at risk as we speak in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. Now, as we look back, the month is ending tomorrow, and as we look back at how to move forward united, a quote by renowned leadership expert and diversity and inclusivity guru René Carayol resonated with me this morning. Simply, it reads, "Violence never solved anything." And I said, wow, I would love to chat to René because he just doesn't make the statements just out of the blue. René, good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday View. Thank you very much, my brother, for joining us here on eNCA. You know and love South Africa very much. I know that for a fact. You've been in this country many times, not once, over many years, interacting with our leaders, business leaders, societal leaders. When you were watching, I want to begin there, watching the scenes of the looting, the unrest and the violence all the way from London early this month, what went through your mind?
It's hurtful. And look, I can empathise. I get the frustration. I get the irritation. I get the fact that it looks like there's no way forward. I get the fact that there's no work. The economic situation is so demanding. It's so difficult. What we've seen over the last few years, this civil unrest, the violence, takes us nowhere good. Nowhere good. And the tragedy is, it hurts us. It hurts those people who are close to us, the environment we live in, our societies, our communities. There is no way forward. There's no upside to violence.
You know, just before we spoke to you a few minutes ago, about half an hour ago, René, crossed live to our reporter at eNCA, Dustin Tath in Durban. They've just discovered in a building that was looted and burnt three bodies. So the body count continues. So loved ones continue to cry. But for somebody who's desperate, somebody who can't put food on the table, somebody who's lost a job due to the pandemic and who lives in abject poverty, it's easier to say violence won't solve anything, isn't it?
It may feel easy for some of us, but let's talk about those people. I've walked in their shoes. I'm an African. I come from humble origins. No one today will, with those three bodies in that building, will be feeling happy or justified or it was worth it. Never underestimate what we can do when we come together. We must never lose hope. Despair is always easier to access than hope, but it gives us no way forward. We've got to think positive. Those three bodies, nothing are going to bring those back to their families. What do we say to their families? No one can feel good about that.
Yeah, I mean, the official death toll is 337. Now we can add these three bodies, going to be 340. Hopefully it doesn't go even further. But what led you today? You've got your hashtag Daily Spike Sparks, to which I subscribe. I've been a subscriber for a long time. What led you today to post "Violence never solved anything"?
As you know, Darren, I look after chief executives. One of the chief executives I look after runs a thriving business in Durban. They're one of the largest employers. I did a coaching session with him 2 days ago. And what really became clear to me, he's having to house his people in hotels. He's having to provide them with food. They're providing food to some of their workforce. And he still realizes he's not doing enough, he needs to do more. One life is way too much a price to pay. It's way too high a price.
At
this moment in time...
This CEO is based in Durban.
Yes, based in Durban. And we had a long session, and I felt for him. I felt for him. And we're all feeling for South Africa. But one life is way too high a price.
Yeah, I was speaking to the ANC secretary in the province of KwaZulu-Natal earlier, Mr. Mtumiseni Ntuli, as the governing party. I said, what are you going to do? What are you doing now? Because one of the, sadly, consequences of the violence we saw has been racial tensions being stirred up in an area called Phoenix, just north of Durban, between largely Indian community and the local African community. You do a lot of work as well in the space of diversity and inclusivity across the world, different continents. I mean, how do we go forward healing if we need to understand that violence won't solve anything, and we are seeing now, we are counting the cost of the violence into billions of rands worth of damage to infrastructure and businesses, warehouses and everything, and 337 at least bodies, people dead, loved ones have lost, nearly or at least 150,000 jobs lost, and there's racial tension as well to top it all.
But look, we must not lose this hope. We are so much stronger when we come together. But the truth is, you never know how powerful inclusion is until you've been excluded. Far too many people in South Africa have been excluded. Let's bring them back in. But this is a time for personal leadership. Ask yourself the tough question. Is this violence worth it? Is this looting worth it? Is this loss of life worth it? It isn't. Look out for each other. Look after each other. They're the two things I implore all of us to do. Just look out for each other, look after each other. It won't happen overnight, but we can build that better South Africa.
Thank you very much. René Carayol, leadership expert there in cultural diversity and inclusivity guru. Thank you very much for your time and your insights. Let's look out for each other, his message. And that's it.